Bronzeville became the Harlem of the Midwest. As more and more African Americans moved in, Bronzeville became the place where they were pushed into, because they weren't allowed to go to other neighborhoods.
As families were migrating north and finding work and looking for opportunities, they found themselves here. But they didn't just come here and work and go to sleep. They brought culture, they brought expression, they brought opportunity to showcase all that is deposited in them. The draw for us, for me, as an outsider coming in, wasn't so much to get property on the cheap.
But we wanted to be intentional about being in a predominantly Black neighborhood in which we saw growth, in which we could be a part of to help it continue to grow.
It's been interesting being in this community. There is this almost natural tension between people like us transplants that are moving into this area and people who have been here. One interaction with the older gentleman, he stopped me and he said, man, I'm so used to seeing gentrification go one way that to see a young Black man, a young Black family like yours gives me hope that we can actually change the narrative for ourselves. And gentrification, in the way that I define it, is when a community has reached a low point of development, that the mechanisms of economics comes into that area, but not to its original residents. The people that are a part of the phenomenon have a choice to turn a blind eye or to be intentional.
The fact that there are so many communities, specifically on the south side of Chicago, that don't have access to quality food, grocery stores, retail stores. They have to go all the way to another side of town just to get their basic needs. That is completely unacceptable. So I believe that when gentrification is done in a way where it's intentional to support the community, I think that can be very helpful.
What is the difference between reclamation and revitalization? Revitalization focuses on finished product.
Revitalization doesn't necessarily have to focus on that. The product may look a certain way, it may look nice, but that doesn't mean that it is connecting back to what was. And I believe that's important, because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you came from, then you don't know where you're going.
I think reclamation is a lot closer to an African term, West African term called Sankofa. Sankofa means to go back and to take that which is valuable as you move forward. And I think when we think about reclamation, we're thinking about what was that is still valuable. One thing that I think about since moving here is the overlap of the stories of this community. And one story that I think is phenomenal to be overlapped with our story is the story of the Forum. And the story of its origins in 1897, it was constructed, it was opened, and in 1898, this structure was erected.
If I had the opportunity to go to the Forum and be like, oh wow, this is a part of my history. Wow. To learn about Bronzeville and learn about how all of the different people in my community came here. And they came here with so much culture. They came here with, many of them, many opportunities. Many of them, they may have struggled, but they came together with something beautiful. I believe that those stories need to be shared.
And to think that a year after the Forum was built and the invitation for all of this Black culture and Black expression and for all of this beauty and contribution to the greater Chicago fabric, and then for this structure to be put in place as a home for all those that would come and partake of the beauty that was being produced at the Forum, it feels to me like we are inextricably bound to the history and to the lineage of the Forum, and I'm just proud and excited to be a part of that legacy.